Okay, good morning and welcome back to our Tene Digital class. This is our second class. Today we're going to discuss about something that we call logic gates. Most of our previous students think that logic gate is a component, but actually it is not. A component is like an independent circuit. For example, we have a resistor, and also we have capacitor, and also we have the inductor, and also the transistor. But logic gate is just a combination that present a function, a logic function. So it's actually a combination of transistor. So that's why today we're going to discuss about logic gate. But before we discuss about logic gate, we're going to discuss about the transistor itself. Yeah. Okay. Basic logic operation. Okay, just skip this one. Now, today we're going to discuss about how digital transistor works, and then the basic theory of Boolean, and the basic algebra law of Boolean set theory. This is actually compressed into classes today and also the next week. Okay. Now, transistor. Actually, really familiar with the transistor. It's just like a resistor, although the resistance within the transistor can be changed depends on the voltage of the base. Because in transistor we have three feet. The first one is base, this one, and then the second one is the collector, and then the third one is the emitter. So we have base, collector, and also the emitter. And also we have two types of transistor. First one is the NPN, and the second one is the PNP. Okay. This is what we call a BJT, bipolar junction transistor. But before we move on to the transistor, let's start with the semiconductor. Semiconductor, as we can see, previously maybe in your high school, you're already aware about something that we call conductor and what do you call conductor resistor. It's something like you cannot transmit a current through this media. We call it resistor, probably. Okay, but semiconductor is like a conductor, but it comprises only for several ions. So, let's say for example, I have the something that we call silicon, or we can use germanium. But in this case, we can use the silicon. Silicon in nature is a pure resistor. So we cannot use silicon and put a potential or battery on both sides of the silicon and then expect a current will flow through the silicon. That's not going to happen because silicon is pure resistor. So we cannot move a current to go through a silicon. And then what is semiconductor? Is something that we're going to put ion. Ion is an atom with maybe add the electron or take out some electron from the ion and then put that ion into the silicon. So we can have two types of semiconductor. The first one is the N-type semiconductor. In this case, we're going to put some ion. Usually we aware about the neutral atom. There is a neutron and then proton if the atom has 4 proton, then it's supposed to have 4 electron. But in some cases, we can add an electron to a specific atom. So instead of using only 4 electrons, we can add another electron into this atom. So that means this atom will have a negative ion. And then put that atom inside the silicon, so we can have the N-type or negative type semiconductor. So it's something like a resistor with an electron flowing through inside this silicon. But in P-type semiconductor, let's say I have 4 proton and it's supposed to have also 4 electron. And then I'm going to take out this electron. So the atom will provide a positive ion. And then put that ion into the silicon. Then we can have the P-type semiconductor. Think of it as a media that has a positive type proton flow through the silicon, moving freely inside the silicon. So now we have the P-type semiconductor and the N-type semiconductor. Now, what if we combine these two semiconductors? Remember that positive and negative will attract to each other. So when we attach these two semiconductors, the junction in here, the positive type proton will move to here, and the electron will move to here. So there will be a space in here, although it's very small space, which in this case is neutral. There is no positive ion, and also there is no negative ion. Okay, now, so we have something that we call a neutral portion of the semiconductor. We call this place is junction. Okay, now how about if I put a metal in here, let's call it anode, and put another metal in here and call it cathode. Anode is supposed to have positive potential, and cathode is supposed to have negative potential. Now, how about if I put the anode with the positive, like this. We put it into a battery, and then the cathode, so this one is the anode, and this one is the cathode. Put the anode with the positive part of the battery, and the cathode, put it to the negative type of the battery. What will happen? First, because the potential is not enough, then we can just, as you can see in here, positive will push the positive. So it will give a push to here, and also the negative will give a push to here. So the negative ion will move toward the junction. This is the junction, and the positive also will move toward to the junction. So it's just like compressed. However, the battery is not strong enough to push this electron and also the proton to go through the junction. How about if I put another battery in here? Then in this case, the battery will have a strong enough power to push the proton and also the electron to go through the junction. So in this case, the current will flow here. This is what we call forward bias. And this combination is called a diode. Okay. Now, how about if I change the polarity of the battery? I put the positive into the cathode and put the negative into the anode. Remember, positive will not push the negative, but it will attract the negative. So it will move toward here, and this positive type ion will push toward here. So what will happen? It will be something like this. So the junction will become bigger. In this case, there will be no current flow through the diode. This is what we call a reverse bias. So it doesn't matter how many battery you put into this circuit, there will be no current flow through the diode because it's in reverse bias. However, in the forward bias, you will need a strong enough battery, approximately around 0.7 volt, just to make the current flows through the diode. This is what we call a threshold voltage. A voltage that can compress the negative ion and also the positive ion, so it will be strong enough to push to the boundary, to the junction. So the current will flow as a forward bias. Okay. Now, this is diode. How about a transistor? In transistor, we have now three semiconductor. First one is, let's take for example, this one is the N, this one is P, this one is N. So this is a BJT. It's a NPN P junction transistor, something like this. This one. This is the NPN transistor. Okay, now actually the P-type semiconductor is very thin that the current through the collector to emitter can go through the collector emitter. Let's for example like this. First, the base will give a positive and emitter will give a negative. So think about this is a diode. So it's actually something like a diode. Something like this is the base and this is the diode. This is the symbol of diode. And then this one also a diode. This is collector and this is the emitter. Okay, now whenever we put the battery to the base and also the emitter, a current will flow through the base to the emitter. As long as the voltage between the base and emitter is above the V threshold or more than 0.7 volt. Okay, as long as the voltage between the base and emitter is more than 0.7 volt, then a current will go through the base to the emitter. This actually will attract a current that will move from collector to the emitter. However, the current flow from the collector to emitter is much bigger current compared to the base and emitter. And this is what we call amplification. Small current, big current in here. This is what we call transistor effect. Okay. Now, so based on transistor effect, we can have three types of working mode for the transistor. It's getting first one is the active mode. In active mode, there will be a current going through from the base to emitter, and then there will be a current move from the collector to the emitter. The amount of current move from the collector to emitter depends on the current from the base to emitter. Let's say, for example, the current from base to emitter is 10 microampere. Then the current from collector to emitter, it could be around 1 or 10 milliampere. So it's something like 1000 amplification from 10 microampere to become 10 milliampere. How about if I how about if I change the current from base to emitter? Let's say we put it into 20 microampere. Then the current from collector to emitter also will become bigger, which is 20 milliampere, because the amplification is still the same, which is 1000. How about if I move or if I change the current to become 30 microampere? Then this will become 30 milliampere. So the current that will go through collector to emitter depends on the current from base to emitter. So it's not fixed. It depends on the current between base and emitter. So this is what we call active mode. This is when we want to use the transistor as an amplification. You can see the we usually hear about amplifier. That's to amplify or strengthen the signal. This we use the transistor as a active inactive. Okay. Now, however, if the current is small, let's say only 1 microampere. 1 microampere is not enough to put the transistor to become active mode. So there will be no current, zero current move from the collector to emitter. So if the current from the base is too small, then there will be no current from collector to emitter. This is what we call cutoff mode. So this is cutoff. Now, the next one is when I put the current to the base too big, let's say I put 100 microampere, so this will become, is supposed to create 100 milliampere, but it's too big for transistor. The maximum current, there will be a maximum current move toward the from collector to emitter. So because 100 milliampere is more than the threshold, then it usually will be split or will be cut to become the maximum. Let's say 50 milliampere. This is the maximum current flows from the collector to emitter. So in this case, the transistor is in the saturated mode. So it's something like this is direct connection. Now, if we put the transistor in active mode, the voltage in here, the collector, will depend on the voltage of the base. But in cutoff mode, the voltage as the output will definitely become 5 volt. And in saturated, the output will become definitely 0 volt. Now, this is what we are going to use as a digital transistor. Why? Because in digital transistor, we need to have a certain voltage for the output. Remember about what we learned from last week? The amplitude of the digital signal is supposed to have a discrete attribute. Discrete means they only identify or they only has certain value. For example, only 0 volt and also plus 5 volt. So that's why we cannot use active mode for the transistor in digital world, but we're going to use the cutoff mode and the saturated mode. Why? Because the voltage, the output voltage is definite, either 0 or plus 5 volt. However, in active mode, the voltage, it could be variable. Okay, now, so in digital transistor, we can only work in cutoff mode and saturated mode. However, if we use the BJT, the B-junction transistor, for digital transistor, we need, the problem is, when we use saturated mode, the current that moves from collector to emitter is very big. That will make the transistor to become very hot because it works on a maximum mode, 50 milliampere. And the second problem is the speed. Moving from cutoff to saturated mode or from saturated mode to cutoff will take a lot of time if we use the BGT. So that's why we need to have a special design transistor to be able to work in digital world. There are two major designs for digital transistor. First one is the TTL, transistor logic, and the second one is the MOSFET, metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. That's transistor. So TTL and MOSFET is a specially designed transistor that will work perfectly on the digital world. Okay, but we cannot use TTL and MOSFET for the amplifier. That's when we use the BJT, B-junction transistor. Okay, this is an example of TTL, transistor logic. For example, 700. What is inside the 7400 is an NAND gate. What is the characteristic of TTL? First one is it's low, but it can drive power. So we can use TTL to, for example, turn on a motor DC. So TTL slow, but it can give power. And it's fabricated using the 74XX series. Okay. Now, the MOSFET, metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor, fast, although it cannot give enough power to turn on or rotate a motor DC. Yes, it can turn on a LED lamp, but it's the current that will give to the output to here is too small. It cannot use to turn on a motor DC. And it's fabricated using the 40XX series. So if you need a fast system, then we can use the MOSFET. But if we want power, then we can use the TTL. Okay. Now, let's talk about the CMOS. It's actually a MOSFET, but it's on a combination where it can work in complement. So that's why it's called complementary metal oxide semiconductor, CMOS. CMOS comprises of two transistors. The first one is the PMOS, the second one is the NMOS. PMOS is cut off when the G, so we cannot use B in here, so there will be no base, collector, and emitter. No, this is for the BGT. In CMOS, we use gate, source, and drain. So we have gate, source, and drain. Okay, but it's basically the same. Gate is like a base, source is like collector, and drain is like an emitter. Okay, now PMOS is cut off when G or gate is plus 5 volt, and the NMOS is cut off when G is 0 volt. Now, let's say, for example, this first combination. So I put the PMOS on top of the NMOS. This is the plus 5 volt, and this is the 0 volt. Now, let's say, for example, I give A as the input. This is input, and Q is the output. Let's say, for example, I give input 0 volt. When I give 0 volt, then the NMOS will be cut off. So the NMOS will be cut off, something like this. However, the PMOS will be saturated. Saturated means it will be have a direct connection like this. So the output will be connected to the plus 5 volt in here to the VDD. Now, how about if I give plus 5 volt to A? If I give plus 5 volt to A, then okay, let's move to that here. Now, if I plus 5 volt to the input, plus 5 volt, then the PMOS will be cut off. So the PMOS is the one to be cut off. While the NMOS, this is the NMOS, this is N, this is P. So the NMOS will be the one who saturated. So the output will be connected directly to VSS, which is 0 volt. So if I create a table to give a relationship between input and the output, if I give 0 volt for the input, the output will give plus 5 volt. If I give plus 5 volt to the input, then the output will be 0 volt. And put it into a logic value. This is input. This is output. If I give 0, the output will become 1. If I give 1, then the output will become 0. So it's like inverting of the output. Give 0, the output will become 1. Give 1, the output will become 0. Okay, now, any question so far about the first combination? Okay, if there's no question, then let's move on to the second combination. Sorry. Now, let's put the PMOS. There are two PMOS in parallel and two NMOS in series. So there are two inputs, A and B. Because there are two inputs, then the combination of the input will become 4. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. Let's say, for example, I give all the input to become 0. If I give 0, then what will happen? This will be cut off, and this will be saturated. So in this case, the output will be connected directly to the VDD, plus 5 volt. So give 0 and 0, the output will be plus 5 volt. Now how about if I give all the input with plus 5 volt? Then the NMOS will be the one who saturated, and the PMOS will be cut off. So the output will be connected directly to the VSS, which is 0 volt. So plus 5 volt for the A, plus 5 volt for the B, the output will become 0. Okay. Now, how about if I give the other two combination? Let's say A is 0 and B is 1. Then this will become one of the NMOS will be in cutoff, but one of the A or B, the PMOS, will be saturated. Also, it's something like this. This one will be saturated. Something like this. So still the output will be 5 volt. And the other combination will become something like this. This one will be saturated, and this is the one will be cut off. So still the output will become, it will become something like this: 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. Yeah, this is the CMOS combination number 2. Okay. Any questions so far about transistor? Now, this is the function of input and the output. Like this. If I give 0 for the input, the output will become 1. If I give 1 as the input, the output will become 0. Then it's like inverting the input. So that's why this combination of CMOS is called the logic gate with the functionality of inverter, because it's inverting the input. 0, 1, 1, 0. So it's like inverting the input. So this is what we call inverter logic gate. So logic gate is basically a transistor. And then for the inverter, we only need 2 transistors, one PMOS and one NMOS. And this one has the functionality of another logic gate, which is what we call the NAND. NAND logic gate. We're going to discuss about NAND logic gate, but basically, logic gate is basically comprised or built from a transistor. If the inverter only needs 2 transistors, the NAND gate needs 4 transistors. Okay. So now we're going to discuss about the Boolean algebra. So I believe you already now you're already aware about why do we need 0 and 1 in digital world. That's because the transistor that build the logic gate can only work in 2 modes: saturated mode and cut-off mode. Cut-off means the output will become maybe 0 volt. Saturated mode, that means the output will become plus 5 volt. So that's the reason why in digital world we only need 2 values, 0 and 1. That's because it works on the base of transistor, digital transistor. And digital transistor only work in 2 modes, saturated mode and also the cut-off mode. Okay. This is the what we learned from the last week discussion, the union. In union, it's actually a OR logic function. So it's something like an addition. And the symbol is something like this. This is the symbol of OR gate. So 0, 0, the output will become 0. It's like addition. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. 1 plus 1. Now this one will become still 1. And for the OR gate, it's actually a NOR gate. So, OR gate, it's actually a NOR gate plus the inverter. So that's why in OR gate, we need 6 transistor in CMOS. Because the NOR gate needs 4 transistor and the inverter needs 2 transistor. So the OR gate will need 6 transistor. Because it's actually a NOR gate with an inverter. So that's the reason why OR gate is slower than the NOR gate. Okay. Ahora saya bersama nanti datasheet. Oke, apakah dapat di Oke, hanya sirkuit. Okay, and then this one supposed to be all. Okay. Let's say, okay, this one is the NAND gate now. Okay, 7400. 7400. I believe I already have 7400. Okay, we don't have this one. Okay, 7400 dataset. And then okay, let's check the speed of the NAND gate. Where is it? Okay, now this one. Okay, this one is around 15 nanosecond now. Let's try the AND gate now. 7408. 7408. Okay, let's check what is the speed of this. Okay, this one. Let me zoom this one first. This. They said that sorry. It says that the switching speed is for the AND gate is 27 nanosecond. However, for the 7400, sorry, not this one. This one. The speed is only 15 nanosecond. So, NAND gate, this NAND gate is faster than the AND gate. Okay. So that's explain why the NAND gate is faster than the AND gate. That's because AND gate is actually a NAND gate plus inverter. Something like this. Just like OR gate is basically a NOR gate, not OR, plus inverter. Okay. This is the AND gate. It's just like a multiplication. 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 1 is 0, 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 1 is 1. And this is the NOT or inverter. The input is 0, the output is 1. The input is 1, the output is 0. Okay. Just put it in mind that logic gate is not a component, it's a function. It's basically built from several transistors that create a specific function like inverter, AND, OR, NAND, NOR, and etc. Okay, so we have NOR in here. And this one is the NAND. 0, 0, 0 plus 0 is 0, and then inverted to become 1. Just like our previous combination. This one. 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0. This one is the, sorry, I believe it's NOR gate, this one. Yes. Okay, this another type of the logic gates is the SOR gate. It's just like a OR gate, but when we want to add 1 plus 1, in OR gate, it will become 1. But in SOR gate, it will become 0. Okay, there's a difference between OR and SOR. So basically, if all the input are the same, okay, if the input are all the same, like this, then the output will become 0. However, if the input are all different, the output will become 1. So it's just like a comparator. The same, 0. Different, 1. Okay. Nah. Okay. Now, this is a circuit comprised with 2 inverter as the input, and then AND gate as the middle component, and then the last one is the inverter. Now, the input is A in here, so the output will become A not, because it will become inverted, because this one is inverter. This is B, so the output will become B not. And then the output in here will become A naught times B naught. And then the last output will become, this is the input, and then this is the output. Okay. This is only the truth table. Okay. Okay. We have, see, this is what we call a circuit. So this is what we call a logic circuit. And this is what we call the truth table. Truth table explains the combination or relationship between input and output in a table. So truth table is a table that explains the relationship between input and output. This is the input, this is the output. Okay. Now, how about this one? This will become A, and this will become B naught. This will become A naught. This will become B. And because this one is the AND gate, then it will become A times B naught, because AND is a multiplication. And then this one is A naught times B. And then this one is OR, so it become A B naught plus A naught B. Okay. Okay, this only explain about the shapes. How are we going to use the Tinkercad now? Okay, I'm sorry, not this one. Let's use this one. Now we need the battery. Okay, we need that. Okay, now this one is the positive. We have to put here and put it into using a red, because we usually use red color for to explain that this one is positive. And then black for negative. Now this one is for the power, so we need to put this to positive. And then, okay, before we move on, let me explain about the breadboard first. Breadboard is something like that we can put our component, and it has a connection inside the breadboard. For example, like this. If you hover your mouse to here, now you can see that there is a green line that explains that this dot is actually connected to this dot, to this dot, to this dot, and to this dot. And then this column will also connected from here, 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 here. So that means if I put a plus positive from here, it will go directly to this 7400. That's because this dot is connected to this pin. Okay, Same thing like here. All of this connection, all of this dot is connected. And this is also connected. So that's why if I put positive in here from the battery, then I can use from here or from here or from here, etc. Okay. So now let's try to plus here. Okay. Now, this one is the ground. So let's put it in here. Now we already power the 7400. Now, this is the LED lamp. It's just like a diode. Because LED actually stand for the light emitting diode. It's like a diode. And if we put it into forward bias, then it will emit the light. So that's why it's called light emitting diode. This one is the cathode. This one is the anode. 7400. This is the 7400. Let's try to use this NAND gate. The input is pin 12 and pin 13, and the output is pin 11. So we're going to use this input 4B, this input 4A, and this output 4. So we're going to use the output to turn on the LED lamp. And then put the cathode to here. Okay. Now, if we want to turn on this lamp, we need to give a logic 1 as the output of the NAND gate. So, we have to give this to the power. And then we have this, this, and this. We give this to the LED lamp. To the ground. Then, to turn on this LED lamp, we need to give logic 1 in here. Why? Because in LED, this one is the anode and this one is the cathode. Remember, if we want to put the diode into forward bias, then we need to give the anode with a potential or the voltage more than the cathode. So we can push all of the proton to go through the junction. So in this case, we need to give logic 1 in here. To create a logic 1 in NAND gate, remember in NAND gate, where is NAND gate? Not this one. Oh, okay, this one. To give the output 1, then both the input supposed to be 0. Okay. Okay, I think this one is not correct. This one is positive. Sorry. Okay, I need to correct this one. To give a NAND gate as the output with 1, okay, so NAND gate. Let's say this one is A and this one is B. A, B, and then this is the and this is the NAND. 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. And it's like a multiplication. So 0 times 0, 0, 0 times 1, 0, 1 times 0, 0, 1 times 1 is 1. And then inverted to become NAND, 0 become 1, 0 become 1, 0 become 1, 1 to become 0. So the output will become 1 whenever only one of the input is 0. Like for example, A is 0, the output will 1. B is 0, the output will become 1. Okay, let's write it out into the Tinkercad. Now let's give A, this one is A, to ground. And then this one also to open here. Okay, now let's try to start the simulation. Broke. Why? This device broke because of current through pin 4Y is 47.7 milliampere. Okay. So what happened? That's because sorry. That's because the current going through the LED lamp is too big. So that's why we need to make the current to become smaller. So what is the component to make the current smaller? Is the resistor. Let's try it again. Start simulation. It said that in here, current through the LED is 47.7 milliampere. It's too big because the recommended maximum is 20 milliampere. Okay, so it's supposed to have the current of 20 milliampere. Remember about the Ohm law? V is I times R. The voltage is 4.5 volt. The current is supposed to be 20 milliampere. So what should be the value of the resistor? Resistor should be 4.5 divided by 20 milliampere. So it's supposed to become like 2.25 0.225 kilo ohm because milliampere is kilo ohm, and then supposed to become 225 ohm. Okay, so we need to give resistor with the resistance value of 225. So we go to here. Okay. Now let's start the solution again. Oh, now nothing is broken, and the lamp is on. Stop simulation. How about if I give B with plus 5 volt? Start simulation. Still on. That's because A still 0. Now how about if I put this one in 0 or ground, but this one is the one who become plus 5 volt. Still on. Now how about if both A and B will become positive? Now the LED is off because A and B is 0, A and B is 0, A and B is 1, then the output is 0. So because the output is 0, then it cannot turn on the LED lamp. Okay, this is the NAND gate. Now let's try another one. For example, let's say maybe OR gate. Let's move this one. 7432. Okay, let's 7432. This similar like the NAND gate, although it's an OR. So we're going to use pin number 12 and 13 as the input and 11 as the output. Okay. Now, this is the output. Now let's create a table in here. Let's say this one is A, this one is B, and this one is the output. This one is A. This one is B. Okay. Now the first combination is 1 1. 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. Now 1 1. What will be the output? 1, because the LED lamp is on. 1. Now how about A is 1, B is 0. A is 1, B is 0. Still on. Now this one, sorry. This one is 1, but B is 0. So A is, okay, got it wrong. But still the same. A is 0, B is 1. The output is 1. Now the last combination is both are 0 or ground. Okay, the output is 0. Okay, so this is the truth table of the OR gate. So it's something like an addition. Plus, 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 plus. 0 plus 0 is 0, 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 plus 0 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 1. Okay, this is for the OR gate. Well, you can try it by yourself using the AND gate, and then the inverter, and also the, what else? SOR gate. Do we have SOR gate in here? No, probably not. Only NOR, NAND, and inverter. Ah, we have the SOR gate. 7486. Okay. Now, SOR gate 7486. Okay, still the same for the layout. Pin number 12 and pin number 13 will become the input, 11 is the output. Okay. Now let's try it again. Now 0 0. What will be the output? Nothing. So 0 0 0. How about 0 1? On. How about 1 0? Also 1, because the LED lamp is on. And then the last one is 1 1. Oh. So the output of 1 1 is 0. So this is the SOR gate. So it's similar like the OR gate. The difference is the last combination, which is 1 and 1. 1 and 1 in OR gate, the output will become 1, but in SOR gate, the output will become 0. Okay, I think that's all for me. Any questions so far?
Sorry, sir.
Yes.
The cable on number 11 is the ground, sir?
The 11, yes.
Ah.
Sorry, not 11. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 is connected to the LED lamp.
I mean, on the board, sir. There's
This one?
no the above one, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Besides the cable,
This one?
A cable. Sir. Yes, sir.
11.
Yeah. That one.
This one?
Yeah.
This will give power to the 7486.
Okay.
So we need to give power to the integrated circuit because transistor needs power. So to give power, we need to put it into this because it said power. And then this one is ground.
Oh, yeah. I see the black cable. I didn't see it before.
Yeah, this is the black cable. This is for the ground.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so this one is for the power. This one also for the power because power needs two polarity, positive and also the negative. But this cable will give input to the SOR gate, and this one will check the output of the SOR gate, whether it is 1 or 0. Okay. Any other question? Okay, if not, then I think that's it for today, and I'll see you next week. And don't forget to do the quiz. And remember, this quiz will be counted as a component in your final score, and the due date is today, this midnight, March 2nd until 11:59. No retake. Attempt allowed only one. And the time limit is 10 minutes. Okay. Thank you, and I'll see you next week then.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You.
Thank you, sir.